Hello, everyone. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. I'm assuming that we have people joining us from other countries outside Nigeria. Welcome to Let's Talk About Sex. So, I know you may be asking, why sex? Well, why not sex? Why not sex? That should be the question because with all the noise, with all the hype around sex, is still shrouded in so much secrecy. So you have a lot of people, a lot of issues coming up, but people are not bold to talk about it. So I decided, so let's do it. Let's talk about sex and what inspired this. So personally, after my third baby, I noticed a decline in my libido. I noticed that sex was like one of the last things on my mind. I wasn't having that urge to have sex. And I know I can't be the only one feeling that. I know there are a lot of women and possibly men who go through same situation. So I decided, okay, so let's talk about it because people say sex is important. People say without it, a marriage is doomed to fail. And so one of the things I think we're going to talk about today is if sex is so important, what happens when a spouse becomes incapacitated? And if sex is really so important, what makes it very important? And in a situation like mine, where the urge is not there, how do you rekindle that fire? How do you seek for help? Because for some people, it's medical issues. But then I am just going to be the moderator for today. I have seasoned guests on this show, and I will be introducing them shortly. So they're going to answer every questions I will throw at them. And if you have your questions, please do well to drop them in the comment section. And my guests will be sure to answer your questions. So sex, sex, sex. In fact, a friend told me, she said, there was a day I posted, I said sex is overrated rather. And she said, what makes you think sex is overrated? After money, sex is the second most important thing. And I'm like, how? She said, check all the great men. A lot of them were either brought down by money or sex. So here we are. Let's talk about sex. So I'm introducing our guest for today. We have Papa D. He's the convener of Heart to Heart, a platform that is geared towards relationship, making sure that people have good relationship, anything around relationship. Papa D is your person, and he's a seasoned and experienced person in the subject matter. We also have Mrs. Ify Sam. Don't let her looks deceive you because she's bringing so much spice to the conversation today, and we're going to be dissecting a lot. So she's also bringing on board a lot of experiences. So let's make welcome Papa D to the stage and also Mrs. Ify Sam. Yes, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's my pleasure to have you both today. I understand how important your time is, and I do not take the fact for granted that you're able to make out time out of your busy schedule to be a part of this conversation. So, sex, what comes to your mind? So, I'm going to start with, they say ladies first. So, Mrs. Ify Sam. So, what is sex really? Because some people think sex is just the penetration. That's why you see people tell you, oh, we kissed, we smooched, we did all this, but we didn't have sex. So what really is sex? Over to you, Mrs. Ify. I think you're muted. Okay. I think you're muted. Your mic isn't connected, so muted now. No, I can't. It's still muted. I think it's muted. Something like,
I can't also hear her. Can you hear me?
oh, okay. I think you can hear both of us, but we can't hear you. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Loud and
Yes.
clear.
Hello?
Yes.
You can
Yes, we
hear me?
can.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, our beautiful host, and good evening, my colleague in the house. Good evening, Papa D. Yeah, I can see you.
Even
See you. Yeah, I like to express my sincere gratitude for you hosting us. Honestly, when it came to my table, I was happy. I was like, wow, this is a really bold birthday. So once again, I say happy birthday to you, Sister Chisom. Happy
Thank
birthday.
you. Thank you.
God bless your new age. Welcome to your best year yet. You've been doing a great
Thank
work.
you.
Honestly,
Amen.
I tap
Amen.
from your grace. I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy. This is really wonderful. God bless you. Yeah, God bless you.
Thank you.
So
Thank you
I
so
welcome
much.
everyone to this live section. And I believe that by the time we'll be leaving here, we'll get an answer to most of our questions by the grace of God. And that tension that is always around that word, sex, I believe it's going to calm down. Yeah, I believe it's going to calm down. Yeah, because when you mention that word sex, it's as if there's a tension. It's as if there's, I don't want to hear about it. So I have this belief that after today's live session, we'll understand what sex is all about and the purpose for sex, especially in the context of marriage. Yes,
Yeah.
we'll get it well understood. Okay, yeah. Back to your question, my honorable host. You said what it says. When we talk about sex, everybody like sex, 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 sex. Sex to me is a mystery. Yeah, sex is a mystery. Sex is a spiritual mystery. Sex is a profound spiritual mystery, honestly. And we have to understand this word, sex, and not shy away from it. Because to me, it's a gift from our loving Father. God created it. He didn't just create us and ask us to go out there for procreation without this particular word sex. So I don't think it should be what we should be shying away from or scared. We should see this as, to me, sex is a mystery, is a profound mystery that transcends physically and spiritually. It goes beyond the physical realm. It's not what is only just that connection, that penetration, just like my quote say. It goes beyond penetration and it goes beyond the performance. I think let's go back to the Bible in the book of Genesis chapter 4. Yeah, the Bible say, and Adam knew Eve, his wife. The word no. Adam knew Eve his wife. He said, Adam knew Eve his wife, and Eve did what? Conceive. The Bible used that statement, knew. That's how the Bible described it. So this going beyond mere physical intimacy. Yeah, it's beyond it. It's beyond just that male physical intimacy, especially like I said in the context of marriage. In the context of marriage, sex is between a husband and wife and not between a man and a woman. A husband and wife in the context of what? Marriage. Adam knew and he conceived. What the Lord said in the book of Genesis chapter 4, verse 1. is a deep spiritual connection that transcends to the physical what act. So, firstly, you are connected spiritually, then before the physical act. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yes, I
Can
can.
you hear me? So it started spiritually before the physical act of it. So that's why I said it's a mystery. It's just a mystery. The spiritual mystery of sex is a profound one. So that is how I will say it for now. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So over to you, Papa D. Let's hear from you. What exactly is sex?
Thank, thank you for the privilege to share um, and be a part of this particular um, webinar. I want to join my guests, my co facilitator to wish you a very happy birthday. I mean, it's not.
Thank you.
Not everybody wants to spend their birthdays to be discussing controversial or not controversial, but very sensitive topic. You want to use it to relax, have fun with your family, and all of that. So we salute your grace. So very quickly, because there's a lot to talk about, and we have a very short time. There's no need to repeat what Madam has said. I believe that she had captured it very, very, very well in simple terms. Sex is a mystery. Sex was designed by God. It was not created in Hollywood. It was not in Nollywood. It's not in any culture. God owns the copyright, the patents to sex, how it should be deployed, how it should be exercised, and what is right and what is wrong. So he is the owner of it. And sex was created for many reasons. It's a mystery, but it's a mystery that can be understood. It's a mystery that can be explored. It's a mystery that can be known. All right. It's not mystery in the sense that it is not within exploration. God designed it to be mysterious, yet to be explorable. All right. So, and of course, sex is intimacy. Is when a married man, well, when let's say legitimate sex, let's put it in context, legitimate, because many things that God created has become perverted. So, legitimate sex within the context of its original designer is intimacy, physical, spiritual, emotional intimacy between a married man and his wife. When a married man and his wife become so intimate that intimacy involves their spirit, soul, and body, and ultimately, when the two bodies become one in physical union, that is sex, and it is God that designed it. Thank you. So that's it. That's okay. Yeah. So I hope you heard me. That's as simple as that I can be.
Yeah.
Yes, I did. So, and thank you so much for that perspective. So that brings me to my next question, and this time around, I'm going to start with Papa Dean. So,
Yeah.
can there be intimacy without sex in marriage?
Oh yes. Very well. Very, very well. Um, when somebody very powerfully defined intimacy for me many years ago. I think either it was when I was getting prepared for marriage or my early days in marriage. That I'm just taking the word intimacy, I'm putting it into three words, just putting it aside and putting them back together. Into me see. Intimacy. Into me see. So intimacy begins, from knowledge, accurate knowledge about someone. Intimacy is when you are connected to someone to the extent that you begin to explore that person to the extent that you can say, I know this person. And that's when Madam read, when took us to the beginning, he said, and Adam, why did the Bible decide to use the King James Version? I'm sure most contemporary version will probably just tell you that Adam had sex with his wife. But King James said Adam knew his wife. And some translation will say, when you have a carnal knowledge of another person. In fact, sex is the highest way to know somebody, spirit, soul, and is the highest way to know someone, actually. So, and that's why the concept of rape is so sensitive, because you are taking the highest form of knowing somebody without the person's permission. You are invading someone and getting to know the person in the highest form without the person giving you. You are invading the person and getting to have the highest form of knowledge about that person without that person's permission. And that's why it takes a lot for people who are raped to really come out of it. So in a nutshell, to just answer your question, there's a lot of things that should happen and can happen for you to know somebody else without ever touching them physically. Eventually, intimacy is designed by God to dovetail into that. But it's important to first know that there's a lot of things that can happen or should happen in your journey to exploring the other person. Explore, that just means to be intentional about getting to know more about somebody. And that involves a lot of things. The concept of talk, just having to have, some people don't know how to have good conversations, and you see that even develop into marriage. That's why a lot of people just have sex, they don't have conversations around sex, because they've not even come to appreciate the concept of having healthy relationship conversation. That's the big. You can talk with someone for just the first time you meet somebody, you have a 2-hour talk, and I'm sure you probably can bear witness this. You saw somebody for the first time, and you just had a 2-hour conversation with the person, and you feel you know the person all your life. Has that ever happened to you before? That's because that communication was so vulnerable, was so rich, there was so much details around it. So beyond other things, I just wanted to establish the point that intimacy can happen and should be happening with or without sex.
Okay. So, Mrs. Ifisam, do you agree with that, or do you have something to add, or probably a contrary opinion or something?
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, my honorable colleague, Papa G. I appreciate all you say, and I accepted it. Yeah, it's true. But let me add a little thing to it. Yeah, can there be intimacy without sex? Okay, I heard what my colleague just said. Yeah, the word intimacy.
Network.
Yeah.
She's frozen.
Yeah. Probably network on our end.
Is she in Lagos?
Yes.
She's from Lagos. Okay.
Just God is our creator, and He wants us to have intimacy with. Can you hear me? He wants us to have intimacy. This set out time, this personal relationship just between us and Him as our Father and as our Creator. Now, coming to, is it possible to have intimacy without sex? Now, in the context of marriage, that's where I am coming from now. In the context of marriage between husband and wife. I think intimacy is part of the thing that build and wife. Yeah, we can have intimacy without sex, depending on, and it varies from persons to person. Let's assume a man that, for example, a distance marriage, a man that is not always there, or one of the spouse is far away, they are not staying together, and they do see themselves once in a year or once in 2 years. Definitely, there is no sex, but their communication skill, the way they communicate to each other, can make them to have a perfect intimacy. They have an intimacy, but yet they don't have sex together because of the distance between the both of them. So for that, I can say yes, there can be intimacy without sex. But now coming to a picture of where the couple stays together, they're living together, they communicate very well. I think for them to connect more, they don't have issues. They know how to resolve conflict very well.
Network, 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 network.
I think for them to bond more,
Oh yeah.
Wow.
powerful
The network.
intimacy between them. So that is where I coming from. So I think that is my own opinion on that. So if they are far away, just like I said, depending on how they relate, how they communicate, and depending on how they understand each other mutually, so they can still be this cordial intimacy between them even without sex because they are not staying together. But as long as they stay together, I believe that there should be this intimacy, which sex should be part of it. So that's what I have to say. Thank you.
Okay, so thank
Can
you.
you hear
Of
me?
course, the more we talk, the more, yes, I heard you clearly. So the more we talk, the more issues are unearthed. So I have two questions. Um, and okay, let me give back the first question to you, Mrs. Ifi. So in a case where a couple are together and one of the spouse is permanently incapacitated and unable to have sex, what becomes of the sexual relationship between the couple, and how does the partner who isn't incapacitated help him or herself? I don't know if you understand. Like, how does he cope with the situation? What are the coping mechanisms that he or she can adopt dealing with an incapacitated spouse that is permanently unable to satisfy him or her sexually?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. Okay, so in a case where couples are staying together and one of them is permanently incapacitated, yes, sex is very good, but sex is not everything. It's all about understanding. It's all about understanding. Now, one of them is permanently, that word is where I'm coming from, permanently incapacitated, unable to. Now, what is the other person supposed to do? First, what is the reason? There are so many factors that might behind the other person unable to perform. Now, what are the factors? It might be health issue. And now when it is health issue, how will the other person be able to help? Now here, empathy comes in. One of them is currently incapacitated. Empathy comes in. Maybe let's assume when you married him or her, it wasn't so at the beginning. And now you've come in. You are made to love each other, no matter the situation, no matter the condition. And you find out that one of you, the woman or the man is permanently incapacitated. It may be as a result of health issue, and it may be as a result of trauma. Yes. And this thing now, you have seen it, is a challenge. What are you going to do? You are okay, and those one is permanently, that word permanently incapacitated, and you are okay. I believe now here, empathy comes in. This is a challenge. When you are getting married to your love, love unconditional, now have come to in this particular issue. What am I definitely something should be done, or something must be done to help that person, maybe medically or spiritually. Is it as a result of trauma? But first of all, you find out why. You know, when you get the why, you not get to the to as in the why.
Network, network, network.
Is taking you to the root cause of the problem. Now, you put before to assume that is my husband that is permanently incapacitated to satisfy my sexual desire. And if I'm the one that is in his shoe, how will I take it? How will I react? Will I just abandon my home and say, no, I will look elsewhere. This marriage is not going to work. No. Challenges in marriage is inevitable. It's an issue that needs to be addressed. Seek for help. Find out the root cause of the problem. Yes, there's a cause of it. If it wasn't there when you got married to him or her, find out the root cause and find a way that both of you can come as couple to address it. Definitely, there will be a solution. If it can result to going to meet a sex therapist, fine. Yes, fine. That's the purpose why both of you are there, to help each other, to raise each other up when one is down. It is not a period of look at you, you can't perform. It is not a period of apportioning blames. It is a period that we will practice full empathy. That's where emotional, that's why I always tell my people that going for emotional intelligence class most time helps us. That's where it comes in. You put yourself in his or her shoe and find a solution to it. Definitely, there will be a solution to it. Yes. I think that's what I have to say. Thank you. Yeah, that's all I have to say. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I can see Papa Z. Yes, I can see Papa Z very well.
I think
All right, sir. Thank you, sir.
she was logged out. The network was shaking a bit. So we were hearing you, not hearing you, we were hearing you, not hearing you. So I don't know whether that's from our end or from your end. So I think we're still live. Yeah, we're still live.
All right.
So I would like to add a bit of thoughts to that also, that I think that one of the things that should happen during premarital classes, because I remember when I got married 21 years ago, I did it in one of the Redeemed Christian Church of God, and I realized that of course, there is a curriculum, there is a kind of manual that the church deployed towards those who are coming for premarital counseling. And of course, they talk about all the fundamentals that you will have to go through to prepare to have a good marriage. The last topic is on sexual intimacy. I realized that the pastor who took us, when we got to that particular subject, he just browsed over it and like just told us that, look, is this kind of topic you will learn on the job. When you get there, whatever you see, he wasn't equipped. He wasn't, and I guess that he wasn't comfortable to even talk about it, because and that's the story of a lot of Christians, especially people who are from very serious Christian conservative backgrounds. There is that sense of, if you are deeply spiritual, you cannot be sexually liberal in the context of conversation. So that's why there's a lot of shame, a lot of shyness, and I think eventually this dovetails into the marriage. So we find out that a lot of people, so I'm saying this because of the question that she asked about whether you can have intimacy, whether there can be sex without intimacy, or the other way around, and I mentioned that the place of conversation. And I also want to stress it for this particular question that you have just also beautifully answered, that one of the reasons why there will be a lot of challenge for a couple where one party, becomes, I would have loved to put this in practical context, because I don't know what it means by permanent disability. But let's say the person had an accident and becomes paralyzed from middle downwards. But that's a reality. The person had a stroke. There are people who got married a few months after the marriage, the other partner had a stroke and half of the body is paralyzed. I also have a friend, a mentee, that literally married a husband that had something more complicated than Down syndrome. The husband was so illiterate. You could tell that there will be no physical intimacy, will be almost non-existent with the way it was framed, and that's where it was born. All right, but that kind of person did not marry for sexual intimacy. They must have, but they have intimacy, but not sexual intimacy. And I know when I see her talk about their marriage it's late now, unfortunately. But when I see her talk about their marriage, on social media, I'm like, because in our own space, we think, intimacy must always end up has to do with, genital intimacy and all of that. But you could tell that these people have very rich conversation. So I'm coming to the place of conversation. Christian couples need to become comfortable to talk about sex as a part of them, the way we talk about holiness, righteousness, the walk in faith, the move of the Spirit, going to heaven. We think that. So let me tell you how I was shocked when I was growing up, because I grew up in a very strongly religious background. I mean, I grew up as a conservative believer under SUs and deeper lives and all of that. That's how. So it was a no thing, and I got saved very early at the age of 10. And I was shocked when, as I was growing up, I came across a book in the Bible called the Songs of Solomon. I used to shudder. I used to quake when I read that and I see the way femininity and intimacy and sexual relationship is described in Songs of Solomon. And I'm like, no, there's something is wrong with this part of the Bible. The holiness, the seriousness about God that I know. They made a mistake in this canonical submission to put Songs of Solomon in the Bible, because it was very descriptive. I couldn't understand it until much later. And even our brothers in SU because they couldn't also wrap their minds around it, they said, no, Solomon is a type of Christ. That the Shunammite woman is a type of the church. And that is they just must spiritualize it. They just couldn't say very clearly in context that that description was talking about is a poetic expression of intimate love between a man and his wife. Shikena, simple. They just have to spiritualize it. Yes, I know that all the things about the scripture points to Christ, but in context, Solomon was not Christ, and Solomon Muran is not church. You know, so again, I'm just saying that we need to start becoming comfortable about talking about the intimate part of relationship. And if a couple have become comfortable where they talk, you soon realize that it will be easy to have empathy. It will be easy to have understanding. You'll be shocked at how many secrets is carried on into marriage. I've had friends that had to end their marriage because when they got into marriage, they discovered that the other person did not tell the other person that he or she was impotent, because he believed that all things have passed away. I've prayed about it. I'm healed. I never told his wife to be that he had a problem of had an impotent challenge. That's why some churches now, for you to be married, they don't use pregnancy test again. They now do potency test. Both couples will now have to go and test that you are fertile and that you are not impotent. They are not included because of the many deceits. People cover a lot of things under religion because they will not talk. They are not comfortable. Some people are stigmatized. They are frigid. They have issues because of trauma that happened in the past, but because they won't talk. We can mask a lot of things under religion and spirituality, and they carry it on into marriage. And then because you mentioned that people should go and seek sex therapists. How many people are seeking sex therapists in this Nigeria? It's something that people will say, how can I carry? A man's ego will never allow him to go and make it. Some men will not allow their wives to go and consult a therapist. You mean you are going to go and tell that we cannot perform, or I cannot perform, something's wrong with me? So, because if you don't break these limitations of being able, I dare to say that if your conversation is not intimate, it's not rich, you will have problem with the richness of your intimacy in marriage. If you are not talking about it, there are a lot of couples who are having sex but not talking. They say that sex, you're just supposed to have sex, no talk. So even during the process, no talking, just have it, let's have babies and leave. But that's not the way God designed it. You should be able to, if God put it there in the pages of scriptures and it was done in such a poetic way, then we should start getting comfortable. If God himself is comfortable to capture it in the pages of scriptures, then Christian couples should start getting comfortable to talk about a very important part of their existence as man and wife, or else don't get married. Thank you. I'm done. Chisom, welcome back. I'm just holding brief for you. Why we didn't see you?
Okay, so thank you.
Can hear you again.
Yeah, we can hear.
That's the challenge of network issues in Nigeria.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the challenge of network issues. I hope she's able to.
Yes, I think so.
Like I had a real life issue of a friend of ours who, after about 2 or 3 years of marriage. Okay. Welcome back.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. I can hear you, but you are frozen.
Yes, I can.
Okay, so my next question. My next question is about spousal rape. That's a very big issue. Some people are for and some people are against. They believe there's nothing like spousal rape because sex is your duty and you must give it to your spouse, whether you like it or not, whether you're in the mood for it or not. So I want to hear, especially from you, Papa Jean, from a man's perspective. What do you think? Because recently, a very popular fashion designer, during a bridal shower, was seen advising a bride that sex is something you should give your man, whether you're tired or not. Even if you're tired, even if you're this, just open the leg and let him do what he wants to do. And it now becomes a question. So at what point does sex move from something you do to build intimacy into becoming just a duty you need to perform, sometimes to the detriment of your own self-value?
All right, thank you very much. Unfortunately, we will not have enough time to do justice to all of these questions, but I can tell you. But let me try as much as possible to be. I hope that is married people that will watch our videos because we can be brutally honest if it's married people that will be listening. So so to be frank, let's look at it technically. Rape is when you have unapproved, unsolicited sexual relationship with someone without the person's pre-approval, in-approval, post-approval, and it is literally gaining access sexually to anyone, male or female, without the person's consent. Meaning, it can happen in marriage, and then you call it marital rape. It's just that in the terminologies can be a bit dicey based on the climate and the country and the operational laws that is in that country. I know in the developed world, a wife can actually sue the husband for rape, and she will win. I'm not sure whether that's the same in Nigeria. I'm not sure whether. Well, maybe it is evolving. Maybe a lawyer can tell us, or people in human rights and all of that. But as I know so far, and I stand to be corrected, the marriage institution already confers consent, perpetual consent to the couple. From the moment you go to the altar or you take your vows, whether customary, traditionally, or religiously in your church or your mosque or whatever, that signing of the dotted hand is that you have signed your consent. That's what I think in the Nigerian law constitution. Maybe now, they are reviving. It would be nice to know in the comment section if that law has now been revived. So depending on where you are, you can forcefully have access to sleeping with your wife in Nigeria, and when you both travel and go to the UK, you do the same thing, and they will slam you with rape and you go to jail. So again, it depends on the operational legal framework that is at work where you are. But let's leave law. Let's talk about the spirit and character of Scripture. Sex was never designed by God to be a selfish pleasure. That's the reason why God will kick against masturbation. Anything that is called self-pleasure. Sex was not designed to pleasure one person. So even in marriage, if a man wants to deploy and enjoy the length and breadth and height and depth of sex, he needs to have participation of his wife. Not just participation of the wife, he needs to be interested in her enjoyment also. In the case where you don't care, and most of the time because you see, again, how we view and respond and how we need sex differs from gender to gender. A man does not see sex as a woman does. Right? Just the way our framework is. A man's drive towards sex is like drive for hunger. It's like when you are pressed and you want to go to the toilet. Once you deliver the goods in toilet, phew, you just feel good. But the woman is a different thing. It's more like a journey. It's more like there's a lot of emotional connection. She wants to feel connected. She wants to feel secure. She wants to feel safe. A man does not need to feel safe. A man just wants a release. He's just on that body that he wants to throw the body away and feel good. So because of the way, and that's why a man can sleep with many things at the same time, and does not have any emotional attachment to it, no strings attached. For women, it's a bit different because once you get up from that sexual experience, you are no longer the same. You have collected something from that man. You are thinking about the future, the far-reaching implication of that act. So a woman needs to be in a safe place, needs to be secure. At least the sensible women, not an average woman, because some people are exceptional. They don't care also. So basically, in a nutshell, marital rape exists when a partner, and in this case, more randomly, let's say this is more on the men that are usually by nature aggressive. They are the hunters. They are the ones that have sudden need for sex because of sudden need for release. The ladies always have to build. They are the giver. The lady, if you look at us with our anatomy, we are more on the giving. Women are more on the receiving. So it's more positionally easy for a man to carry out rape than a woman because of the positioning that we have and the way we are framed. So most rape cases are usually perpetrated by men, even though in this evolving generation now, women are raping men the way things are. But that's the way. So in a marriage also, a man can use his position as head, can use his position as strong to force his way and use the contract of marriage. The fact that you have signed off your will, your body, your spirit, soul, and body to me as the basis to violate his wife. In the eyes of God, you are actually being selfish. You are actually violating your wife. You can violate your wife as a man, even though legally, based on the crime that you're in, if you're in Africa or some part of Africa, you will go scot-free with it. But you are still not doing it the way God intended it. You are selfish. You are self-willed. You are violating your wife, and there are repercussions for doing so. It's just a matter of time. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, Mrs. Ifisam, I would like to hear your perspective on that.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Siso. And thank you, Papa Z, for all you said. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so what I have to say here is it is not I don't see it as a proper thing, just like Papa D said, for that to happen in marriage. Yes. Papa D said something, it can happen here and the person will go to us free in Africa. But over there abroad, you won't. Yeah, your wife will sue you and you may be jailed for that. Yeah, which is very, very good. But the truth remains that if I pick a point from what he said, it happens here, and you feel just like Papa D said that a man would just want to ease himself and go. So there's no emotional attachment to it. But from the woman's side, we are not framed that way. We are not wired that way. Yes. I think number one sex organ is the mind. Yeah, it's the mind. The mind is the number one sex organ. And just like Papa D said, I picked from his point, every woman wants a safe place. And every woman you will not be happy that your husband forces you and you are raped. How will my husband rape me? And now, maybe the man is seeing it as it is the duty of my wife. The duty, that word duty. I think it should be more desired than that duty. Yes, definitely, we are all relationship beings. from womb, and at the same time, we are all sexual being from womb. Yet, both man and the female. So, to me, I don't see it as a right thing for a man, because just like Papa D said that most of the rape do happen from the man. Yeah, even though the world has turned around, that definitely a woman can sometimes rape a man, but it's, let me say, it's very few. But most of it do happen from the man. So definitely, what I'm saying is that when a man that have come to the extent of this says is your duty, my wife, you must give it to me the way I want it and the right time I want it, without considering or putting the wife emotion or putting her feelings first. Okay, now a woman that, let me give example. I am a woman. But they have talked from the men perspective. I am a woman. I work, I take care of the family, I take care of the choice, I do most of the things, and I still go to work. Now I came back home and I'm so tired. And I explained to my husband, see, let's start this. I want to do this. But initially, I believe that the sex is not necessarily supposed to start from the bedroom. Sex, from what I believe and how it should be, should start outside the bedroom. Papa did say something about conversation. When there's this mutual and unique conversation between the spouse, you and your spouse, you always converse, you always talk about things. Often, maybe in the office where he is, you are conversing at a leisure, you have a little time, you send him a message, he sends to you as well. Sex starts outside the bedroom. And now, by the time you are coming home, you are so tired and you have done this, you've done that. Some men may not be there to assist their wife. That is, I can call it a culture or a math, a stereotype, this African belief. They may not be there. And the woman is so tired. Some men, some, not all, that are they just want to release it. They don't care. They don't have these feelings for their partner. Might actually rape the woman, which is very, very wrong. Which will be very, very wrong. And it is not the right thing to do. So I want to say, the thing I'm going to say in a nutshell is that there should be this communication. There should not be communication gap, and there should not be knowledge gap. Just like what you are doing here, you find out that most cases it has said that is more of women that are learning. I'm so happy when I saw Papa D. I'm so happy. Even when Mrs. Chisum told me about him, he have a man that's coming to minister to us, talk about this. I was very, very happy, because most time the way we see it in here, especially with the Africa, the women are the one that also they should go and learn. They should go and learn. We the men we are after money, after money. To me, is a culture, and the stereotype is not okay. So in that case, where the man is not knowledgeable enough, is not sympathetic enough to know that my wife is tired, she has explained something to me and she's tired, I need to help out for this to be carried out, and it's a desire. I don't see it as a duty. Some men will just forcefully dive in and rape their wife, and the woman will not be happy. No woman, including me, will be happy on this particular act. I will not be happy, and I believe that many women outside there will not be happy, because one, when there's an issue, a woman came back from work, she's so tired, she needs help, and during the day outside there, there weren't conversation, they were not talking, they are not having this mutual conversation between them. There is this gap in their communication, and the man is just coming in, all what he talks about is sex, and the woman coming in and saying, no, honey, sweetie, or whatever you call him, I'm tired, I think you help me do this, that. By the time we'll be getting to bed, or I can be able to, and the man is saying, no, I am the head of the family, I am not going to do that. For me, I think it's a cultural belief, and it's not supposed to be done so. Yes, every woman will not like to be raped. Coming from that aspect, I think it's a cultural belief that a real child of God shouldn't be doing that. When I say believe, there's difference between a child, as in someone is just I'm a believer, but I'm a real convinced child of God that have the Holy Spirit right inside him. shouldn't go to that extent. So that's what I have to say. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Like Papa D stated earlier, this is a non-exhaustive topic. Like it's a topic that you could literally spend all day discussing. Already we have spent 55 minutes just discussing this. So
This
we're
starts
going to be
scratching the topic.
we're probably going to have a follow-up episode to dive more into other areas we're not able to touch. But we're about to round off. And as we round off, I'm going to be talking about women like me. Like I stated when we started, I said after my first baby, and I believe it had to do with hormone issues. So for you, Mrs. Ify, what are some of the hormonal issues that you experienced after your first baby?
I can't hear you very well. I can't hear you very well. I think
Yeah,
it's
she was
breaking.
about to drop the questions about. I believe she was about to drop the question about our own case.
Okay.
She's on my back. Yeah, she was about to drop our questions about our own case. After our third baby, she started having a decline in. Yeah, yeah, okay. I was about
Okay, so
helping you with your question, so finish.
thank you so much. I don't know. For some reason, this webinar, I'm happy it held because there were so many obstacles to. In fact, I almost cancelled. I had to tell Papa D at some point. I said, I will probably have to cancel this whole webinar. In fact, I was asking myself, who sent you? But like I said, I believe there is once issues come up like this, there's probably a reason why that is happening. So I believe that there's someone who is
Absolutely.
watching who has been
Yeah.
able to get probably something to help them or he or her in their marriages. So as we round up, I'm saying that for women like me, for example, this is an hormonal issue. I was lucky to be able to have gone through that phase with a husband that is understanding, that is sensible. So for those that have married the weapon fashioned against them, how do they handle that particular phase without disrupting the balance of the home? That's your question, Mrs. Ifisan. For the woman, what can she do to help herself? Probably from the health angle, or what can she do to, get things back into the way it used to be? Then for Papa D, I would like you to talk to the men. So how should men help their wives through such phase? What is expected of a husband that his wife is going through a situation like that? What is expected of such man to help the wife navigate that phase and make sure that their intimacy remains intact? So, Mrs.
Okay, thank you
Ifisan,
so
we'll
much.
start with you.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you so much. I want to first of all appreciate your openness. Yeah, yeah. There's something Papadi said when I talked about sex therapy. So I was like, how many people want to talk? How many people want to open up? I love that particular aspect. How many people want to go and even share something like this? But you're just you're just exceptional. I love that. Yet, someone that as a woman that noticed a decline in libido, a decline. The first thing I will say here, you know, when a young lady wants to get married, even a young man, but let me talk from the women's side, there is this spark, there is this joy, there is this I'm marrying my man, a man I love so much. We're having sex together every time, every day, every night, anytime he needs me. There is this spark that is always there. By the time we come, you will find out there will be so many divided attention. The spark will no longer be there. And you think it will remain like that. It doesn't remain like that. The time we come, and especially women, once we start giving birth, you will see our attention will be divided. And if you did not work on it, you'll be like, oh, my baby, my baby. Okay, let me use myself as an example. I remember when I gave birth to my first child, everything died down. Yes. Just like Chisom said, it's take an understanding husband to help you. All my concern, all my care was just on that my baby. If I have a husband, I don't even care anymore. Immediately, I have a child now. My husband, please, you can sit down. And I keep going on like that. Before you know what is happening, there is this separate room. Mommy, carry your baby, sleep in your room. Daddy, please, can you stay in your own lane? Please sleep. I have a baby now. If you did not handle that issue very well, if you did not handle that period very well, definitely you will begin to notice this decline in libido. You begin to notice that there's no connection between you and your husband again. The urge will definitely die down. There's a hormone in charge of it. But now this is what we as women need to work on. I don't really think it's necessary that in the modern world, they don't even do that. Papa D keeps saying something. But here in Africa, I don't even know how we get to that point that you will give birth and abandon your husband. Remember, it was the both of you that started. And definitely the children will grow and leave the family. It will still be the two of you. What bond are you creating now? And now there's a divided attention. All your concentration is now on your child, and you forgot the man. You are just no more taking care of him. There is no how you have that urge. The libido will drop. But there's this connection. When a man and a woman are on the same bed, sleeping together, as in body touching body, there is a connection. Yes. When the body is because most time we feel we have this I don't know what I would call it. Okay, let me call it a cultural belief as well. Now, if I go inside the room and sleep on the same bed with him, something will happen or sex will take place. I just give birth. Please, let me give myself time. Let me stay on my own. No. Something will not necessarily happen when you sleep on the same bed. You have understanding. You know you just give birth to a baby. But that gap that is there between the both of you, a separate room, or let's assume it's where you have just a room and a parlor apartment. Husband, please, will you go to the parlor and and lie down and let me sleep with my baby in the room? That gap, you see, the thing will be going down. But when you are together, rubbing body together, sleeping together on the same bed, there's this connection. There's this connection. I believe the baby will be well taken care of. Your husband will know that here you just deliver, you put to bed. Sex will not necessarily happen when you sleep together. So that would be another reason for that decline in libido in some women. Then, secondly, a woman that is nursing a baby, naturally, there is decline in libido. Yes, there is. Once you are nursing a baby, the hormone that is responsible for sex always goes down. It always goes down. So now, what are we going to do? Are you going to leave it to keep dying down? If you leave it like that, it will definitely die down. What you did not work on, what you did not take it off, will definitely die down. It will. But I will use myself as an example. From where I was coming from, Papa did say something. The orientation we have, most women, most ladies, like someone like me, the orientation we have, even before we get married, has already killed our libido. Because nobody wants to talk about sex. It's a big word that is right. Nobody wants to talk about it. So the orientation we have, young girls have, that is coming from some religion, have already bring our libido down. Even before getting into marriage. There's not into marriage. There's nothing like that sexual urge because of the poor orientation. Papa said something, and the pastor just rushed it. He said, when you get in there, your experience will tell you. But this is something that is raw, that we need to teach our young ones and teach them raw and talk to them about it. It is not what when you get there. We need to teach our young ones. children about it. So that one as well can equally bring it down. And another thing, health. There's some people that are going through some health challenge. It can make cause a decline in libido. Then stress and depression. Depression can cause a decline in libido. Stress causes it. Unresolved conflict. Unresolved conflict causes decline in libido. All the time you're having issue and you're pushing it under the carpet. You don't want to resolve it. You don't just want to talk about it. See, forgiveness, forgive and move on. Yeah, I believe on that. But I believe more, it is more preferred to resolve and move on than to forgive and move on. So unresolved conflict in marriage can lead to it. Now, coming from the woman's side, a woman that feels that she's not well taken care of. You're having issues often with your husband. There's this communication gap. It also brings it down. So there should be no communication gap. Our communication between we and our spouse, especially women, between you and your husband, it should always be on point. If it's not the talking time, we're like, men don't like talking. You do the talking, but find a way to present it and find a way to say it when, as in at the right time and on his right mood. Because the more you talk about it, express it is a desire. Tell your husband, women, I don't believe in it should start from man. Maybe you have given birth, you are waiting for your husband to come. Maybe him. Assumption is not all that good. He might be feeling, she just give birth, let me leave her. You can easily walk to him. Honey, how do you feel? Should we have something this night? I don't think it's wrong. Because you are helping yourself. Then from our husband, if you find a decline in your wife's libido, don't keep silent. Most Christian husbands, they were like, you don't just want to talk. Let her not feel angry. Please talk. Don't bottle up. Let it out. Talk. Tell him how you feel. You as the woman, tell your husband how you feel. Seek for help. Find solution. Work together. Come together as spouse, as husband and wife, and find a way. That was how my husband helped me. If his son is the most highest person that has, in short, if sex is not in my diary, I am telling you the truth. A life story about me. It is not in my diary. I don't just like it because of where I'm coming from. The orientation I have about it, I hate it. I don't like it. But you know that my husband have helped me a lot. He has really helped me. As in, in short, I can initiate it, and I will keep initiating it. It is not meant for only the man to initiate, or men. You as a woman, initiate it. Yes, I love that. It is not a man thing. Go to your husband, communicate your desire, tell him how you feel, tell him how you want it. He is your husband. From the day you got married to him, you will start chasing him up and down. Maybe let me say, when you've not gotten married to him, he was the one chasing you. As long as you've entered that marriage, start chasing him up and down. If he's running, follow him up. Follow him up. Tell him, man, honey, sweetheart, I need it raw. Right now, right here. It is not a sin. It is not a taboo. And it cannot be. By so doing, you're helping yourself. And when you have this constant sense, you look younger. You look sweet. You look good. And you look healthy. Thank you. God bless you. I think I will stop here. Thank you.
Well said. Well said.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, the system is frozen.
Over to you. She's frozen. All right.
That's what we are.
That was well said, well delivered. I believe that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. So I was just affirming that I love to hear testimonies of transformed life, and it's important for people who are conservative. Some people they are like the narrative that we see in the Orthodox Church when the slogan that we say, as it was in the beginning, is now and ever shall be, world without end. They don't change. They are cast in stone. And I agree that it's difficult for mindsets. Most of these things are mindset issues are very difficult to deal with. Some of them are very strongly indoctrinated. They are not going to change easily. So this is why it's important. Don't marry just anybody because the person has money, because the person is fine. You are going to meet issues in that marriage. That's the reason why I'm glad that Mississippi Sam is, I know you also as Jason are talking about imagine you don't have an understanding husband, and the average man who is unregenerated is not understanding, because by design we are impulsively aggressive sexually. It's a need. It's a very, very powerful need of a man that just comes by default. They don't want to hear any story that you are having this, you are having that. A man does not understand it. This is the reason why you need to have a man that has another sense. He's not controlled by what is in between his legs. There's another sense that he connects with, and it's the God sense, ability to be able to show empathy. So for men, and so I'm usually very inspired to hear the testimony of transformed women who used to be conservative. Then their husband. This is what is happening in First Peter chapter 3, very quickly, verse 7. Peter, who different from the perspective sometimes of Paul, who was not married, or at the time he became Apostle Paul, he probably was never married, or his wife died, whichever one. So the narrative of Peter, who had a wife, in what they taught us and what they captured to help marriages, were quite different from that perspective. Both of them are valid. So First Peter chapter 3, verse 7. I like to read in 3 different translations. KJV said, likewise, ye husbands, I'm speaking to men now, dwell with them here are your wives, according to knowledge. How much knowledge do you know about your wife? In giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel, as being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered. This is the problem of those who force their wife and who rape their wife. Your prayers will not be answered. You will just discover that you and God, God is not, your prayers are bouncing back. You will not know why, because you have violated, you have broken covenant with the wife of your youth, and you are dishonoring your wife. Actually, your prayers will not be answered. Husband, NIV says, husband, in the same way, be considerate as you live with your wives. Be considerate and treat them with respect as with a weaker partner. Be considerate. So at this point, if you are dealing with, and a lot of us will probably, a lot of us who married in conservative backgrounds, your wife will go through this. Even if your wife was once cha-cha-cha, like you said, anything can happen. Hormone can suddenly fall by sickness. Hormone can be altered by birth. The coming of children brings different kinds of pressures on marriage. It's a considerate man. The way Mississippi Sam's husband, who I believe had consideration, and it's the fruit of the spirit to persevere, to be patient. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love perseveres. So a man that is having this kind of challenge with his wife, it's not the time to start saying there are many fishes in the, body no be firewood, I can't cope. This is the reason why I'm married. If I don't have sex, I will die. There's nobody who has died because they didn't have sex. You will not die, even though your body will tell you that you will not die. There's nobody that have died because they didn't have sex. All that thing is just the way we just want to continue to validate our irresponsibility. Yes, it is important. Yes, it has many multi-dimensional advantage in the marriage and for the man, even for the women also. But it is important to know that there will be times when the river will not be flowing. There will be time where you will need, that's what they say, intimacy is intentional. It's not, people don't become sexually successful or sexually intimate because by instinct, nobody is born from heaven with the skill. You are intentional. You deal with it. So if you are the man, you need a lot of consideration, knowledge. For me, I mean, I'm in my 50s now. My wife is going to be 50 in about a month plus time. She's in menopause stage. Before 10 years before menopause, I started studying about women in premenopause and menopause, preparing for it. And it takes a considerate man who is not self to know that prepare for it psychologically, prepare for it financially, prepare for it spiritually, prepare for it, helping her to go through the word of God, renew her mind, and say menopause is not a curse. You can enjoy it, you can walk through it, you can subdue it. And then, but I also knew I have to make adjustment. It's not going to be that 25-year-old wife that you marry. You have to make ready to make adjustments. And that's why our Christian faith and the gospel of our Lord Jesus Christ makes us, as husband, be ready to make sacrifice as Christ loved the church and gave himself. So you're ready to give yourself and make adjustment. And I can tell you then, as you make adjustment for your wife, you will see her also making adjustment, because it's a law of harvest. Once you sow perseverance, patience, investment, you're also helping her. If she needs to lose weight, for instance, if you need to take off, I mean, I made up my mind because myself and my wife were 3 months, I'm about 3 months plus older than her. And I know that they generally advise that husband, make sure you are 5 years older than your wife, so that, because when women age, when they begin to age faster, they age faster than men. So if you marry your age mate, by the time you are 60, she'll be looking like your auntie. So, but by the time you are both in your 50s, and then you people will be at power because it's 5-year difference. But the person God chose for me is 3 months younger than me. But I told myself one of the reasons that is so is because there's too much stress on women. Too much. You go to the market, you see a woman is holding a baby on a little toddler to the market. She's carrying one. She's pregnant with another one. She's carrying load. She's going to work. It's too much. How can that kind of person perform and be a man who is considerate, who is dealing with that with knowledge, who knows that stress is not good for anybody, talk less of women, will do his best to ensure that take off all the stress points in your wife's life. She will be better to serve you. I can say many more, but I don't have all the time. It's important what I'm saying in a nutshell is that a man at this stage also has to be considerate, has to show understanding. How much do you know about your wife? Have you studied that enough to know her stress point, to know what is the trigger, to know what she needs to do to create a comfortable place of rest, of assurance? Are you talking to her? Are you showing care? Once you go back and you start showing care, you will survive that tiger on the inside, or that adventure will come out again. There's something about care. Every woman, even a 90-year-old woman, will respond to care. Just be loving, be caring, and invest that care every day. It will come back alive. Doesn't matter what is causing it. It will come back alive. And there are many more. But the Bible tells us that as men, we need to be sure understanding. We need to deal with that with knowledge, and you need to sit down and gain that knowledge and deploy it, and realize that you can sustain the intimacy and the sparkle in your marriage throughout the time you are married. God bless you.
Wow. It has really been a very interesting conversation. And I like the fact that I am also here to learn. So my elders have spoken. And I believe that we have gleaned from the wisdom that they have shared today. So I just want to say thank you, Mrs. Ifi-Sam. Thank you, Papa D. Thank you so much. Like I said, we might have to organize a follow-up episode, but we'll look into that based on your availability and your schedule. So because of time, we'll be calling it a night at this point. I just want to say thank you. Vivian Madububa, I can see your comments in the comment section. I hope your question has been addressed. She said, what about when children has taken the place of the husband by taking all the attention of the mother to the point the mother sleeps more with the children? How can that be addressed? So I believe from everything that has been shared, even this last few points that have been shared, both by Mrs. Ifi and Papa D, that has been addressed. If not, I'll make our guests leave in the comment section to further address it. So if you have any, if you feel you're not satisfied with the answer that you got, please let us know, and there will be a follow-up in the comment section. I just want to say thank you to Joseph, Ngozi, Josephine for tuning in. Thank you, Grace Ibe. Thank you, Chi Blessing. Thank you, Vivian Madububa. Thank you, JP Melody, and every other person who silently just followed through. I hope you enjoyed your
Those
time.
viewers.
Thank you once again. Thank you once again, Papa D. Thank you once again, Mrs. Ife Sam. This was a very interesting discussion. And I hope that this begins to spring more conversations around sex in marriage. I don't think sex should be shrouded in so much secrecy. That used to be a thing of the past. But anyway, unfortunately, there seems to be more vocality about sex. But we also need to be sure that we're taking in the right information. There's so much information out there, but then you need to be sure that you're taking in the right information, because there's some information that would even kill the little intimacy you still have in your marriage. So the reason why I asked that question about being incapacitated was, I've seen people that say, if your spouse is incapacitated, then go out and sort yourself. I'm a Christian. I stand by the values of my faith, and I know that that is not the solution. So, but then everything can be taken to God in prayer. So if you had any issues in particular that wasn't addressed here, trust me, there is a higher knowledge. There is the person of the Holy Spirit. You can go to him and ask him on how to deal those situations. And I'm sure that he will come through for you. So I hope you enjoyed it. I had a wonderful birthday celebration. For me, this is the best birthday celebration ever, because I can always come back to this video and watch it. So don't forget to subscribe if you haven't at this point, and share the video if you have a friend who is probably having some issues in her sexual relationship with the husband, with the wife, or something. Just share this video. I'm hoping that God, through these messages that we have heard today, will heal those marriages. That is, for me, is the end point for this, that marriages become healed, that we begin to see husband and wife who understand that together they are one in spirit, soul, and body. Thank you once again. Have a wonderful evening. And like I said, we can't say anything about the follow-up episode. It's likely to happen, but I will surely keep you posted. So, Mrs. Ife Sam, please say hi and say a goodbye to our viewers, and same to Papa D as we wrap it up for the evening.
Bye. Goodbye. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, my colleague, Papa G. Thank you. Happy birthday once again.
All right. All right. All right. See you. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, subscribe, and see you soon some other time. Bye. Have a wonderful evening from here.